We just wrapped up a meeting where I had the opportunity to visit with and catch up with local elected leaders who have been at the forefront of responding for their constituents to this extraordinary rain and flooding event. And it has been heart-wrenching to see our fellow Texans be literally inundated with record waterfall, record rise in water, flooding homes, destroying lives, and unfortunately even claiming some lives. We don't know with certainty the total number of lives lost. I do believe, however, at least 3 lives have been lost as a result of storms that have swept through here over the past few days. One is a police officer from the Conroe Police Department who lost his life in a tornado that was part of the storm. Another was a young child in Johnson County who got swept away because of rushing waters. Same thing happened to an adult male in Bosque County. We all know that regardless of what type of event we are dealing with, whether it be a hurricane, a flooding event, a fire, whatever, the main thing we want to do is to protect lives. And it's important, and all these leaders know this, it's important for everybody across the state to understand that we still face challenges and that we need to make foremost among our efforts the task of ensuring that we continue to protect lives in the entirety of the affected regions. As much as what we have witnessed is a heart-wrenching event, oftentimes I see our fellow Texans show the resiliency that Texans truly have. It could be friends helping friends, or neighbors helping neighbors, or strangers actually helping out their fellow Texans, assisting them to evacuate, assisting them down the road, assisting them with housing or food or whatever type of aid is needed. I'm so proud of my fellow Texans for stepping up and helping out without being paid for it, just because that's the type of style that Texans have, to help each other. So I want to provide several things. One is going to be an update on where we are and what has happened. But before I do that, I want to express my gratitude for all of the local officials who provided information to me today, including Montgomery County Judge Keogh. We got Conroe Mayor Pro Tem Kurt Maddox with us. We have the Montgomery County Emergency Management Coordinator Jason Millsaps, the Woodlands Township Chairman Dr. Ann Snyder. We have the Mayor from Huntsville, Mayor Humphrey. We have the Liberty County Judge Knight, Walker County Judge Colt Christian. We have the Montgomery County Sheriff Henderson, and we have State Representatives Metcalf, Toth, Kissman, Cunningham, and Ashby. Your State Senator Brandon Creighton, and a member from Congress Morgan Luttrell. On the update, there now are 91 counties that have been impacted by this ravaging storm. 91 counties for which I have declared a state disaster. There are 232 responding agencies, counting state and local agencies, as well as federal, that are responding to this. There are 5 states from outside the state of Texas that are also providing assistance, and we thank them for lending their personnel to respond to this enormous and catastrophic event. Altogether, at the state level, the state has evacuated 124 people and rescued 58, including 99 pets. When you hear stories at the local level, there's well over 500 people who have been rescued through the operations at local levels. We cannot thank the local emergency responders enough for their professionalism, for the extraordinary efforts they went through. You know, I talked about how 3 lives are lost. What we do not know is when you look at all the rescues performed by the emergency first responders, which is well into the hundreds, how many lives were saved by those first responders. We thank them for what they do. As of this morning, the update on roads at the state level, not at the local level, but on state roads. As of this morning, there are 43 locations on state roads that are closed due to high water, and there are 14 locations on state roads that are closed due to flood damage. Those reports are based upon assessments that we have at this time. Obviously, they will be updated as additional assessments come in. As far as power outages are concerned, at the peak on Thursday, there were about 160,000 power outages. As of a short time ago, that is down to now less than 7,000. As it concerns structures, damage to structures obviously is catastrophic for the owner of those structures, whether it be a residence, a business, or a government facility or building. But what we have reported is about 800 damage reports to structures across the entire region. Know this, and that probably is a very low number. The reason for it is because of the weather, because of the storms, because of the rushing water, we've not had the ability to make the assessments that are needed to be made in order to identify all of the structures that have been damaged. Those numbers will continue to come in and obviously and likely continue to grow in number here in the coming days. As far as shelter, because of the number of people who needed to evacuate, who needed to escape the storms, people were seeking shelter. As of today, the information we have is, at least as of last night, there were 125 people who were in a shelter situation at that time. That number may increase because of the reality that there is going to be an increase in water levels in rivers all across this entire region. That increase in the water flow of rivers could lead to greater flooding in those regions, which could lead to more evacuations of even more people. So that the number may grow to be more than 125, or in certain regions, as the waters begin to recede, there could be the opportunity for people to go back into their homes. Our goal is to make sure that everybody who needs shelter will be able to get that shelter. More information about that will be provided by Chief Nim Kidd here very shortly. Once again, I want to thank our first responders for everything they did and continue to do to step up and respond to the storm. So now as rain is not falling where we are right now, there could be some people that think, well, you know what, we may be out of the woods. That would not be the correct thing to think for several reasons. One, as I was just mentioning, rivers are going to continue to rise for days. Specifically, the Trinity, San Jacinto, and Navasota rivers are expected to continue to rise. Anybody around the regions of those three rivers needs to know the rising waters in your area, and be sure and listen to what your local officials are saying about what action needs to be taken to make sure that you're saving your life as well as your property. There will remain road closures for a while. One thing we talked about in the briefing, and that is destruction to roads, whether they be state roads or county roads. It may take a while to be able to repair some of those roads based upon what the conditions are. And other roads, it may be perfectly fine after the water recedes, but we still need the time for the water to recede from those areas in order for traffic to be able to make it safely through those facilities or areas. One thing along these lines that I cannot emphasize enough, and that is everybody driving a vehicle, they can ensure that they protect their lives and the lives of others when they're on the road by making sure they never drive into high water. We've seen horrific deaths and injuries arise because of vehicles driving into high water, thinking that they could make it through, only to, in the end, lose their life. It is not worth risking your life to drive through high waters. You know the old saying, turn around, don't drown. It still applies, even though water is not falling where we are right now, especially around these areas that will have raging rivers that will be overflowing the banks in the coming days. Know that you could be in a situation where if you drive into that water, you could be putting your life at risk. Another thing that's going to be of utmost importance as we move forward from this day on is inspections of commercial facilities, of residential facilities, all different types of facilities to, for one, determine that there is no one who has been injured or lost their life, but two, what is the extent of damage and what must be done to repair those damages, and whether or not those damages can be reported and counted toward a FEMA disaster declaration. So on the rebuilding part, one thing that we are strongly urging everybody to do today, if you haven't done so yet, and that is to report your damages. As Chief Gibb will go into greater detail here shortly, in order for this region to be able to receive federal financial assistance, it's important that there is enough identified damages that qualify us for that federal assistance. We won't know that unless you report your facility as being damaged. There's a very easy tool to use to get that job done. In fact, it is on this sign right here. If you go to this website location on your phone, on your laptop, any type of communication device whatsoever, that is the shortcut pathway to report your damages. If you're unable to do that, be sure and contact your local elected officials and let them know what your damages are, or otherwise contact the Texas Division of Emergency Management so we can make sure that if you have sustained damages, we will be able to get that reported. With damages, oftentimes comes several other things. One is scams. Listen, there's going to be people knocking at your door, people calling you, people with signs up, offering to put you first in line for repairs, asking for your money up front, and they'll come back the next day to complete the repairs, but never show back up. Do not fall prey to scams. The best way you can do that is maybe look into the person that you're trying to hire to do the repair work on your home and make sure that they're well qualified and have a good reputation. If they can't be found anywhere on the internet or anything like that, you may be dealing with somebody who could be involved in a scam. So just watch out. You've already lost your property. Don't lose your money to a scammer. Let's see. That may be about it.